folks, welcome. Can I just start by saying what a privilege, frankly, what a blessing it is to be doing this in the flesh, to be sort of sitting across from each other and doing this. COVID hasn't gone away and we do have to be very careful. But I just feel really blessed that we're able to do this in person, sitting across from each other and chatting about these amazing performances that you've all delivered this year. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
A pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I want to start by asking you all, what is your happiest memory from working on your respective films that came out this year?
One memory is, it might just sound very frivolous actually to say, I've usually been doing roles where you have to be physically very agile and, you have to be like out there, not really feminine, so to say. So doing Haseen Dilruba, getting to wear all those saris and being all so feminine and all, I used to just love getting ready. I didn't have getting ready part in my acting career for the longest time.
Right.
Maximum getting ready was Sand Ki Aankh ka 3 hours prosthetics. So I was glad I was getting ready. So I used to look forward to that, getting into the Rani Avatar, painting my nails, long nails, like fuchsia pink color, all like full decked up look every day. I never did that before. So that was like, I loved getting into Rani. That 1 hour of getting ready and I was like in Rani.
Very less happy memories. We had a lot of issues to sort out. Like we had these 2 lockdowns.
Right.
The second lockdown, in Kerala, it was a longer one. And our sets were destroyed by someone for some strange reason. And we had to find another location. And we had to face a lot of things. But I think I can tell this as my happy memory. Like even after all these things happened,
Correct.
our whole crew stood like a family and we completed the movie and we are very happy about the movie.
And what a lovely film it
It
is.
was not an easy
It's not an easy film to make. And
No, it was not an easy shoot for us also.
Sure.
During the pandemic and all.
What a wonderful film you've made despite all those odds.
Thank you so much.
Many congratulations. Ravina?
Well, we have a lot of happy memories actually, because even though we shot through the pandemic, we were very, very, strong on our safety protocols, and it was very, very strict for everyone. So it almost looked like always that we were walking into an operation theater more than the sets, because everyone was in PP suits and you're just like, who are you? Okay, hi. You talk to the DOP like that. But we had a really good time, and we were few of us. So, and the best part was, I think the happiest memory for me is, though years I've shot in Himachal, I've shot in Kulu Manali and Dalhousie and all these locations. But for me to go in the midst of a pandemic, though economically not very good for the state because of lack of tourism, but for me, it was virginal lands again. There was just nobody there. And we were shooting where we wanted and how we wanted. And the locations were stunningly beautiful. We shot in about 2.5 feet of snow. Now, that was again a very, very happy memory, because during that shoot, everyone was very happy. For different reasons said. But the fact was, it was so cold. It was freezing for all of us that we would be having this garam chai and lemon tea and everything. And we just few of us. And we had to wear only our inspector uniform. So how many thermals would we wear inside? It was just not possible. And we were sitting in front of those angetis. And so everything I think about the shoot, we made it happy and positive, even though we faced quite a lot of restrictions and problems. And like, we didn't have any workshops before we went. We just reached on the sets and did that, because over here, there was a lockdown, right? So no workshops, we only met each other through Zoom and just said hi to everyone on the first day of the shoot when we were there in the house. So like, okay, fine, let's do things like that. So that's how it was, and all's well that ends well. So that's on its own a very, very happy memory. Will be forever, actually.
Adarsh?
I think my happiest memory is when we filmed with the actual white tiger, and we went to a tiger reserve in Madhya Pradesh. And we shot with it very up close. So it was sad because it had to be kept in a smaller enclosure. But just looking at it from such a close distance and seeing how majestic this animal is and how beautiful this is. When you're like 4 feet away from it and there are iron bars separating the both of you all, it almost looks like a soft toy because it's so cuddly and it's so cute.
If the soft, the bars weren't there, dude, you weren't here then. You wouldn't have been here right now.
It looks so cuddly, like, you know, when you look at it from like 4 feet away. And
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
and
they're
you
so
look into their
beautiful.
eyes and there's so
Yeah.
much pain and there's... I feel that pain when they're locked up because
Yeah.
I feel they're just locked up. They're not meant to be locked up. You know?
Yeah, yeah. But like, you know that if the bars weren't there with one swipe, it can just kill you, you know.
You were the kurkure snack for him then.
That wouldn't have been a happy memory then.
But yeah, I think my happiest memory was just to be able to, I really like animals. So like whenever I get the chance to, you know, interact with animals from a closer proximity, I get like, feel a lot of
So
happiness.
good. I
in
like
that.
him already. No? You too, actually. You too. Both of us are such animal people.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy too. Big softy.
Coco?
I think that on Gilipuchi, for the first time, the getting ready part of it was really fun for me. Because, you know, I have really curly hair, and for the first time, we used my curly hair, and it wasn't really styled or anything. And I mean, of course, there was makeup even for no makeup look, but, you know, I had to wear those overalls. And, you know, sometimes when I'm acting even as a woman, it is part of it is put on. Like, you know, part of it is the way I'm sitting or the way I'm behaving or the way I'm talking. Part of it is like learned behavior. And like, so I could give access to a slightly more male side of myself, which I feel like I have a man
Right.
inside me. So I could use that. And that was really like fun and liberating and new. Just being like that, you know. I enjoyed that body language the most. It was only 7 days, so it was very short. Shoot.
Sania?
For me, we shot Meenakshi Sundareshwar right after the first lockdown. So I was really happy to be back on set in front of the camera, and both like Taapsee and Konkana, I loved getting ready as Meenakshi, and I still have those saris, like I stole them from set. Hello Netflix. And I wore one for my friend's wedding also. So I really loved getting ready as Meenakshi. And for Paglet, the whole process was a very good memory for me. So these two.
What makes each of you afraid as an actor?
For me, would be a bad director. If I'm stuck in a project and I feel the director is not giving what was our vision earlier, is then I know it's all going to go downhill, because there are times where as an actor, you're so involved in what you're doing, but he's out there, he's the boss, he's seeing the broader picture. And sometimes I'm too involved in what I am doing and I'm not conceptualizing what is going to be happening around me. And that's when I feel, okay, no, he's there to monitor. You know, he won't let that go wrong. And that's, for me, I think really important is
The person that you put your faith in.
exactly
feel insecure about
is not up to the mark. Then you feel a little shaky. I get shaky then a little bit. Ki, "Arey yaar, ab kya hoga?" You know.
Has that happened often?
Yeah, probably a couple of times. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You can all relate?
Like +1 to that.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, I don't watch monitors. So
You're completely putting your faith in them.
I've totally surrendered. And I'm the first one to tell my director, see, I've not learnt the craft. I have kind of experienced it over years, a film after film, and gotten hopefully better. So I'm totally surrendering. And, you know, and he says, okay, ye shot to dekh lo. I'm like, no, I'll watch the film. Because then the film becomes a fresh visual for me, because I've not seen a single frame. So that's how I surrender myself totally in the hands of the director. And if I feel like I'm not able to get the right direction as to how to approach a scene and, you know, to graph it, and I'm getting very dual answers. So I get a little...
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And there are times when the director is confused. अच्छा ऐसे नहीं, अच्छा अब चलो ऐसे try करते हैं.
हाँ, ऐसे भी
And
कर
you're
लो.
like, पर वैसे नहीं कर सकते हम सर, क्योंकि attitude तो ऐसा आएगा ना.
Yeah.
So then at that time you are conflicted in your mind that what does he really want from the character? Does he want it this way or did he want it this way? And then it becomes a little bit of a muddled mess. So
It becomes very
that is something that is scary. That is as an actor, because like what she's saying, I think, I don't know, all of us will agree on that every director has a vision.
Yeah.
And every director has seen his character in a certain way. You want to mold yourself to become that.
Yeah.
Correct? But if he's confused, then you are like, okay, but then I will do what I saw this character as. You know? Then I have a free hand to do what I want. But then sometimes that doesn't fit well.
Don't some of these conversations sort of happen before you get onto set?
They do, but you know, on set, it suddenly abruptly changes sometimes. It's like, but the times it has happened that we've discussed and thought, okay, this should be the approach of the character, and then you reach the set and like react like that. I'm like, but that is not in line with the discussion that we had before. No, but in this situation, just react, just do as I say. So just do as I say scares me. I was like, then it's like you have to at least tell me so I know in my head the graph.
Right.
Where did I start this shot from? Where am I ending? What's my next shot? Okay, where do I pick up the emotion of the next shot? So you can't just say ye bhi kar lo, wo bhi kar lo, jo better hoga ya to wo dekh lenge. This
And
scares
then in
me.
the end, it's the brunt that the actors face, because when the reviews come out, it's like, oh, she didn't do it that way. You're like, but I was told to do it this way.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes
but
they edit. They just say some transition shot that we have given as an actor. It's just edit me picked off because of the length, matlab, whatever. And I'm like, no, but how will that make sense? I was just in that emotion, and now I'm suddenly in this. Where's the transition? No, it was not needed. So I'm like, but I look bad as an actor that I couldn't show the transition. But yeah, so that's not in your hand.
Correct.
So you just
So
like
confused director.
Yeah.
Is why. Anyone else?
I think fear of repeating myself and my performances. It's my major fear, and I know it's a fear. At the end of the day, I can only try and do my homework properly before going on set, so that I know in my mind that what different I can do with each character that I'm playing. Hoga, matlab aisa nahi hai ki I can't totally avoid this, but this is my major fear as an actor, that I do not want to repeat what I've already done.
Right.
Even with the looks, sometimes I get so nervous that it should not look the same. Or this should be something different. So maybe that's my major fear as an actor.
For me, the same as they said, a confused director.
Right.
I've worked with such directors, and once after one movie, I generally don't take much breaks. That's how Malayalam industry works. We work back to back.
Just work, yeah.
But after one movie, I called off few movies. I took 3 months break, and I traveled. And that's when I decided, should I come back to the industry or not?
Oh, wow.
Like, I was certain things. It's not in our hands. We trust some directors. While narrating the story, they'll be excellent. But when it comes to filmmaking, it's very different. If the director is confused, within 3-4 days, we'll come to know that.
Right.
And then we cannot call off the shooting.
Correct.
A lot of people are involved.
Correct.
So then we'll be, and most of the time the lead actors will be blamed, not the director, especially when the director is a newcomer.
that's what you end up facing then,
I'm doing the directors roundtable tomorrow. I'll be sure to take this complaint back.
And one of my directors is coming tomorrow, and
none of them are coming to us after this then.
the director, my friend director who is coming tomorrow, he's an amazing director.
He's making sure that...
Not me.
He's also my best friend, so he's going to kick my ass.
Others, you were saying?
Sir, I think for me it's acting to a piece of tape. When my co-actor becomes a tape,
Like, what is this?
That's fun too.
CG. I thought maybe CG thing, or some VFX creature or something.
no, but like how sometimes when there has to be a close-up done, the actor can't stand there because of technical reasons, and then you have to basically do the whole scene looking at a tape.
A piece of tape.
It's literally a piece of tape. So like for someone like me, at least I depend a lot on the energy of my co-actor, and when that goes away, I get thrown off because I don't know how to respond then. So that, and there's another thing that I get really nervous about is when there are certain scenes when you're thinking out loud and there's nobody else, it's only you in the room. There's no co-actor again you have. So you're just talking to yourself. So yeah, it's those couple of moments where I've struggled.
You would make a very good television host, no?
Pretty sure
You need to
not.
talk to a person.
Yeah. I need to have a conversation. Yeah.
I have a couple of fears. One is, of course, like big, chunky Hindi dialogues. That's my biggest fear.
Still?
Yeah. Biggest fear. And I'm just tattooing it from like days and weeks in advance, and like getting like my son to help me now, which is great. But that's my biggest fear. And sometimes if I find in the script level I have very lengthy monologues, and I say no. I say I can't do this.
Isn't that what actors look forward to?
Yes. Yeah, no, because firstly, I don't like the thing where, one character is explaining everything. I don't want to explain the whole movie. Don't do it through me. Just like your script should be better. And I don't want to learn like long Hindi lines. I find that scary with the gender and things like that. and everything is sync. And the other thing I don't like at all is like similar to what you're saying, not necessarily the co-actor tape thing, because I find if you've done a master, then you can kind of, I mean, maybe now it's kind of okay, but sometimes if you have to look into the lens, the camera's here, and you look into the lens, that's really weird.
Ravina, you've said in many interviews that you like to associate every character that you play with a particular scent.
Yes.
You've said that when you're on every film or on every project, you use one particular perfume, and that helps you kind of get into that character.
Even I do that.
Yeah?
I think it's
I was going to ask you, do you all have a trick? Oh, wow, okay.
That's interesting. Yeah. It just to put you in, I think it just puts in the zone. It's not, I don't choose it basis the character. I don't know how they do it.
Right.
It's just one perfume I use through one particular film because the sense of smell gets
It's very
you
much associated with the memories.
Yeah, then it takes you back into that zone. I feel that's what it does to me. So I use one particular perfume.
When I started working, I had this thought when I was when I was in 10th standard, when I got the new books and new uniforms, the smell. I got reminded of the first day of my school in LKG, in kindergarten. So for me, smell is something that's very much associated with the memories. So when while shooting, from the day one, I'll be using one single perfume, and whenever I uses that perfume, subconsciously, I think it helps.
Yeah. What did you use? What sort of scent? Because it's a superhero film. This is a tough guy.
Yeah, we want to know what a superhero uses. I want to know.
CNH is
try that.
Bad Boy. They have a series Bad Boy and Good Girl.
Okay.
And this Bad Boy perfume bottle looks like a lightning.
So it gets you into that.
Nice. Sana, you said you do the same.
I do the same. I think it's the senses. So my strongest sense is it yeah, I think the smell.
Sure.
So it really gets me back. Even when I use like a perfume that I've used maybe say for Paglet, it takes me back. Like it's I don't know, it's helpful.
Right.
And when you're shooting like two films together, it's even better. Then you can like, you know.
Just
Yeah,
apply the perfume and you are this character.
Yeah, it really helps for some reason. Maybe it's just in the mind. Or
For me, most of the time, I don't do two characters at a time. But whenever I'm doing this character, even after lockdown, I had to continue shooting for Minnal Murali. So
yeah,
I think this helped.
the perfume trick helps.
Do the rest of you have a trick?
I was just listening to their answer and I'm so envious because my nose is always blocked. So I can't smell anything. So I always have COVID. Like it feels like, you know, not to freak anybody out. No, I'm just saying.
I think it's the music and the scent for me. The music also really helps. And it happens naturally. You don't have to like sit and make a playlist according to your character.
Right.
But I think there's something like happens organically that your music taste changes.
Ravina, Coco?
I think I have I think what I do subconsciously, I found myself doing subconsciously is that sometimes I kind of wield my real life, I kind of tweak my real life a little bit according to the kind of scenes I'm shooting. So I found myself doing that. It's a very dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize, I didn't do it on purpose, but it helps, I think, like, you know, if there was a small thing which may not have upset me normally too much, but because I knew I'm going to do a stressed out scene, I let it upset me, you know, a little bit, or I might pick a fight, but you know, those kind of things. I'll just do a little bit tweak my reality to a little bit bring it closer to my character. It's quite a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
Scary. And nothing is really real then, like what's real?
Ravina, not for you?
Honestly, I think music helps. I do listen to, depends on the mood of the scene, what's going on, I try to listen to that. I mean, after doing a song like Tip Tip Barsa Pani, I don't know what zone that put me in, but I know. No hack as such.
Okay.
But,
You don't need a hack.
Yeah, it's just, and now 30 years down the line, I don't remember us film mein kaun sa perfume is getting. They're out of stock, they're not even there. They're not even available anymore. So I think I'll let that one pass. Yeah.
Taapsee, when you play an assertive, strong-willed woman, especially in the mainstream, do you have to fight the temptation to make her likable? And that may not be temptation on your part. It may be on the part of the filmmaker or the writer to make that character more palatable.
I have gone through that feeling multiple times in a lot of films of mine, where I tread that thin line between nice and bad, so to say. All I do is, that was actually one of the selling points of doing Man Marziyan when it came my way. I remember Kanika narrated, she's the same writer for Haseen Dilruba as well. So she narrated Man Marziyon to me at that point. She said that, no, okay, this is a story. I said, this is too easy for me to do. But this part, where the infidelity comes in, is not something I identify with, because it's a personal thing. I don't identify with that part. I don't understand why would she do that, and as a person, I couldn't relate. He said, yeah, but then otherwise it's a cakewalk for you. That's the only challenge, and that's why you should do the film. And that made me say yes, because that was a challenge I threw for myself, that let me see if I can convincingly, if I can honestly do it, like honestly make my audience believe that she didn't do it with any malice. Because that's the character. She's just too honest to her feelings.
Right.
If I can have audience on board with my feelings at that point, I'm home. So that was the same thing I applied in Haseen Dilruba again. Somehow Kanika just makes me do this again and again. Yeah. So the same thing. I was like, I just have to get them on. Me and Vinil were very, very mindful of the fact that, see, she's the protagonist of the film.
Correct.
You can't afford the audience to get disconnected from your protagonist. That's how we feel. So we thought, I'll not make her do something that puts my audience off, as in they don't understand why the hell would she do this. Because they're traveling with me in the story. So I do right or wrong, whatever it is. They should understand why I'm doing it.
Right.
So that's the only honesty I need to maintain with my audience. And I think that should be it. So that's how me and Vinil did Haseen.
Sure. Konkona, do you want to weigh in on this? Because you played parts that...
Yeah, I was just reminded me of, Dolly Kitty.
Yeah.
Usually I'm not very concerned if, it's... I'm okay. I try to find, I try to kind of understand the character. Even if I don't always relate, I try to understand the character. And then it doesn't matter how it comes off, or it depends on the director. I mean, I'm not worried about too much, but I remember in Alankrita's, Srivastav's Dolly Kitty, or Wo Chamakte Sitare, I'm playing a mom, and she's not a very... like mothers sometimes are always shown in a very good light,
Correct.
Maternal.
Correct.
Yeah, maternal. Okay, so this character was not very maternal. So I was also like, really? Lanky, is it okay that she's just like, that she's being a bit like, which, it was great and very freeing. I really enjoyed that. And I found that it made it very real, because so often we, female characters have to be often likable. They're very rarely shown to be making bad decisions or just being irresponsible. And just like, I don't care, I just want to behave badly. Like, it's very rare. I've not come across it too much.
Adarsh, one of the things that I enjoyed most about the character that you played in The White Tiger, Balram, is his duality. We see him in the city with Ashok and Pinky Madam, and he's this innocent, eager to please chauffeur of theirs. And then you see him in his village, and he's contemptuous towards his grandmother. He's not particularly close to his brother. He's cunning. Was this interesting to explore? And how did you sort of reconcile with this?
It was interesting to explore, sir, but I also feel all of us are like that in real life. We do have that duality, right? Like, we always sort of have a different side at home and a different side to our friends and a completely different side when we are by ourselves. So nobody actually really knows who you are, even in real life. Right. Only you know who you are, maybe sometimes.
Correct.
So I was just trying to understand that about Balram and understand why he thinks a certain way, why he detests being with his grandmother, and why he loves his father. And that sort of dictated everything else for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Ravina, the character that you play in Aranyak, this police officer named Kasturi Dogra, she's very committed to this missing person case that she's following, but she's also struggling to be with the responsibility to the family. You've said that you waited your entire career to play a police officer, to play a cop, and then this show came along. What was interesting about this particular officer for you? What stood out?
For me, I think it is the whole crux of her as her persona, and which I feel a lot of women in real life go through. We women consider ourselves multitaskers, and we actually kind of carry off all that very well. She's a mom too, Konkona, and I know she's a beautiful child. And we try to be everywhere. And whether it's our in-laws, it's our husbands, it's our children, it's their school time, getting them ready for exam. And we are actors, right? We also have to give our 100% to the kind of work that we're doing. We have to have that sincerity towards it, otherwise it just comes across superficial. But the fact being that there are millions of women out there who are doing this every day of their lives and in difficult jobs, especially also the women in our forces. They have to be there physically and mentally and have to be alert at every given point. They can't afford to come on job and say, today I'm tired. Yaar, usko goli chalan do. This is not going to happen. You know, they're going to be dead. So they have to be really, really out there and give it their best. And I feel that about Kasturi appealed to me a lot. The fact that she's trying to be everywhere and trying to give her best. And especially that opportunity when she's trying to achieve, her passion is her work, her dream job, you know. And at that time is when she has to sacrifice and take a sabbatical for her family. So a lot of women go through that in life, and that opportunity is taken away by a male colleague. And which you can't just handle because you've reached till there, you've worked so hard, you've given it your best, and it's taken away from you. And the fact that she's not perfect, she's flawed. So, you know, she's not a super cook. She's not being able to cope with the fact because, you know, she's all there.
I love that her daughter's telling her where
exactly
the stuff is kept, where the food is.
So it's just that which I feel so many women go through in their lives. They have to be a good daughter, they have to be a great daughter-in-law, they have to be a great wife, and they help their children, their husband, their family achieve their dreams. So what about the family helping them to help the woman of the family to achieve her dreams? When will that happen? And that is something that we've tried to put surely but subtly through Kasturi Dogra for sure.
Sure. You know, Sania, there's a scene in Paglet which I think sort of perfectly sums up what the film is trying to say and who this character is, Sandhya. It's that scene where it's the last rites of your husband are being performed by his parents who are shattered. And then there's Sandhya who's eating golgappas, oddly sort of unmoved. What was the one quality or the one characteristic that for you defined Sandhya and helped you sort of understand this girl?
For Sandhya, even she didn't know that she wasn't really happy in her marriage. She knew it subconsciously, but didn't want to face it. So, though she was trying really hard to grieve, she couldn't because she had like zero connection with this person that she was married to. And especially in that one scene when she finds out that photograph in his cupboard, she just do not want to be his widow. So now she's like, ab main ye nahi karungi, and she also picks up a red shawl while leaving the house because she doesn't want to be his widow anymore because she feels cheated.
Betrayed,
And betrayed. So I think I had so much empathy for her. Like I felt so like sad for this woman that she has no idea. She's also trying to figure out whether she was happy or not. She meets Shayoni's character and she's also telling him, because of you, he couldn't love me because she doesn't want to face it. Maybe that person was at fault and not this woman.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, like she actually comes to terms with that maybe this relationship wasn't that beautiful that was there in her mind.
Right.
So yeah, I think we've all been there na ki mind mein kuch aur hota hai relationship, when you're out of it you're like, oh no, this wasn't good for me. So it was similar to what Sandhya was going through in her life.
Kunkana, what for you was most satisfying about playing Bharti Mandal, who is of course this factory worker? She's a Dalit lesbian woman who we see her repeatedly being passed up for the opportunities that she deserves, until of course she takes this sort of cunning revenge. What sort of made her really interesting for you?
Firstly, she's really strong and she's really tough. And she doesn't care what people think, or if she does, even she's built up layers
Correct.
of like
she
defenses.
doesn't let it come to the surface.
I just also really like the story, like of course Bharti, but also like the story because I find it such a neat little revenge plot. And it's so it's like so sharp. So I really enjoyed that. I really like the fact that she didn't. I mean, even though her feelings were involved and her feelings were hurt. She didn't let her feelings get in the way of the rest of her life.
Right.
I love that. Because, feelings will come and go. I feel like feelings come and go anyway.
Correct.
I mean, feelings are so transient. And, today you're really upset. Tomorrow you may be like, yeah, it was okay. you know.
Correct.
So I love that she like, and because it's a dual thing happening of, you know, that she like the professional front and the personal front. I mean, and just being able to keep one aside in all, because you know there's no future in this.
Correct.
So using that for, I mean, it's actually miraculous how Neeraj and Sumit Saxena, who wrote it, like how they came up with that
Right.
plot, you know, because I mean, it's something which affects all women. Like patriarchy, you can
Correct. You can
screw
be
all
whatever
women
you
in
are.
patriarchy. So I really love that.
Ravina, this is such an incredible film, Minal Murali. It's a superhero film. It's a homegrown superhero film, and really, I want to say I felt like it's better than most Hindi films we see today. What was the starting point of this journey for you? I mean, does there a little bit of swag that comes in just when you know you're going to play a superhero? I mean, what was it? Because Jason is this sort of village bumpkin who's accidentally, I mean, I don't want to give away the entire plot, but who sort of accidentally discovers these powers and kind of uses it in interesting ways. What was the starting point? Do you remember what it was like when Basil first, was this something that you all developed together? Was it when he first told you about this?
It was in 2018 when Basil told me the one line of the script. So from my childhood, I always wanted to have superpowers and I wanted to become a superhero.
Of course.
The major reason was everyone loves superheroes, and I wanted to be loved by everyone. And growing up, I realized that both is not going to happen. Like becoming a superhero is not going to happen. Being loved by everyone, again, that's not going to happen. But when I became an actor, I think my desire was partially fulfilled because a lot of people started loving me. I started getting a lot of unconditional love. So I was partially happy. And that's when Basil came up with this amazing character, Jason, who gets struck by lightning and becomes a superhero. So at least I could play a superhero in real life.
Right.
And my daughter watched the movie with me and my whole family from Basil's house. And she still thinks that I have superpowers.
So sweet.
Let her grow up and find out that her dad is not a superhero. But until then, I'll enjoy that.
No, you're going to be her hero lifelong. Trust me on that. Yeah, that's what daughters are. You will always be her first love and her first hero.
Yeah, but she thinks that I can do whatever I want, like I can. My character doesn't fly.
Okay.
She thinks that's the only thing that I cannot do.
To all of you, have you ever really fought for a role?
I did for Haseen, shamelessly. I just knew a one-line plot during Mand Marziyan. I told Kanika I would want to hear it, huh? And then I go to shoot a couple of other films of mine, and I come back to know that she's already spoken to someone and about to lock it. And I was like, but why didn't you narrate it to me? You're a friend. So she's like, you just did Badla na bhi, to, you know. And I was like, that's very different, Kanika. She's like, yeah, but we'll do something else. I have something else for you and all. And cut to a few weeks later, she calls me, don't tell anyone. Just come to the office tomorrow if you have time. I want to narrate something to you. And I knew that this is the film she's currently working on, like about to go on floor. And I was like, is it this? She was like, you just come. I was like, exactly, I know now. And the whole narration, I was just smirking, looking at her. You didn't come to me with this before. You didn't. So I was almost manifesting it somewhere, I think, that I really want to do this. And I was not the first, second, or probably the third choice for it. It was when everybody else said no, that it came to me.
And that didn't worry you?
No, I was very happy about it. Like, first, because I wanted to do it.
Sure.
Plus, when I heard it, I was like, why? I didn't understand why would anyone say no.
I was just going to ask you that. How could anyone say no to that?
I don't know.
Later on, tell me the name.
I really want to know. I can tell you the reasons.
We all want to know.
I can tell you the reasons why probably others said no to it. Too grey, not likable. Don't want to, not likable woman character to play. Or who's the hero?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's Haseen Dilruba.
Right.
I don't care about who the hero is. So those were the kind of questions that because of which the others didn't work out, and thank God for that.
And the hero is such a good actor.
Yeah, Vikrant. I was like, look at the hero.
So good. Yeah. I had that. For Shul, I had to.
My friend?
Yeah. Because Enivas, who's the director of Shul, he was absolutely convinced that, you know, if you see Shul, there's Manoj Bajpayee and me, and I'm Manjari Bhabhi, and, you know, playing a lower middle class Bihari housewife with that orange sindoor and everything. And Ramu was the producer, Ram Gopal Verma, and he was not convinced at all. He said, "No, yaar, Ravina, I shut my eyes and I can only see you do akkiyon se goli mare." I was like, "Ramu, please, man.
Don't shut your eyes, yeah.
He's saying, I shut my eyes, yeah, and I can only see you do akkiyon se goli mare. That how now we'll do." So I said, "Ramu, give it a shot." And even Sinu, Nivas, he was totally convinced. He said, "No, this is my Manjari Bhabhi." Cut to, we are shooting. We did the poster shoot and the banner shoot and all the publicity shoot before we started shooting for the film. And we had Rakesh Shrestha's old dinosaurs. Only we'll know who Rakesh Shrestha was. Rohan Shrestha's father. So we're shooting the stills, the publicity for him. And I got out of my makeup room and I'm walking into the corridor and I'm in that look, that Manjari Bhabhi look. And Ramu's coming from the front and I look at him and I say, "Ramu, hi, how are you doing? We're waiting for you, but we've already started." So he looks at me and he goes, I said, "God, man, he's really off this. He really doesn't want me on this film. This is not happening." I anyway went and stood and I was doing my thing. Suddenly, after 5-7 minutes, I hear, "Oh my God, Ravina, that was you." I said, "I rest my case." I mean, that's where it was all in began and it ended over there. So that is something which I had to convince him to let me do because I was looking for that breakthrough.
Right.
I was done with doing the kind of stuff that I was already doing. And what I often say in my interviews, I mean, Tapsi said it a little while ago that, you know, one reaches a point where you want to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You know that, okay, fine, been there, done this. Now what? Beyond this what? Where can I push myself to?
Right. Have any of you had to really push and fight for a part that you really wanted?
This exactly. Yeah.
I've never had to fight for a role, but there was I played Mohit Chadda in Mom, and the film was actually supposed to happen before, and then I don't know, because of some reason it got postponed. But I think for that audition, I don't think I've ever prepared so much for an audition as much as for that character. And also because I'm never quite sure about what I'm doing. It's always an experiment for me. So for that, the audition was when Mohit goes to jail for what he's done. My audition was in the evening, and I remember like not taking a bath the whole day and just like, I think for a couple of days in fact, and just being in like really worn out clothes. And I just wanted to understand if it works for me in some way. And yeah, I went for the audition like that in a very sort of wrecked state.
And you got the gig.
I got the gig.
Sanya? No? I was going to say, didn't you beat out
A lot
like
of
dozens of...
For 3 months. 2 or 3 months. We auditioned for it for good 3 months. And we did wrestling, we did weight training just to like prove ourselves that we will be able to sustain it for another 2 years. So we have that physical strength. So, but I went all out and I'm quite like not that out there. Like, abhi aayega, abhi kya karenge ladke. Now if I want a role, I'll definitely like
Make the call.
make the call. But back then I was like, it's okay. But no, for Dangal, I don't know. I think I was quite positive that
It'll happen.
it will happen. It will happen from day one.
And you
Like,
knew
like,
that they were testing dozens of
Yeah,
girls.
yeah. Ours was the second round of 20 women who were shortlisted. So, but still I was quite positive that I'm in it. In fact, in the making of the video, they all got really confused, the director and Amir sir, and they were asking like the person who was shooting the making that, did you tell her that she's in the film? I was that like confident that I'm in it. And that's how I approached all my auditions कि अभी wrestling करवा रहे हैं कुछ नहीं दर्द हो रही है रोज बहुत सारी medicines खानी पड़ रही है a lot of like painkillers and muscle relaxants but I'm in it.
Did you cut your hair at any point before while
Not before
testing?
but after we
Because
got
that would
the
be
film.
real confidence, right?
Yeah, no. Never do that. I think I will never do that again. It took me like good like 5 years to reach this stage.
Yeah, that's curly hair.
Curly hair, it springs up.
Yeah.
It springs up, yeah. So
This I just decided, let Sanya be the only curly hair girl on the table this time. So I'm like, okay, I'll straighten it.
yeah, a lot of fight, but glad I did it. That's the reason I'm here.
You know, to all of you, but especially Konkona and Ravina, who have made many more movies, is there a role that changed your life?
Minnal Murali's shoot, along with the lockdowns, I got enough time to prepare. When we had finished around 60 to 70% of the movie, the first lockdown came. So I had to maintain the continuity. So in the movie, I'm this very ambitious, selfish, little chubby Jason in the beginning. And my director wanted me to undergo very gradual transformation from that Jason to a proper superhero who comes in a superhero suit in the climax. And emotionally also I had to transform very gradually. It shouldn't be, I was not allowed to overdo it. So I had to maintain the physical continuity throughout the lockdown so that we didn't know when we are going to resume the shoot. So I had to be ready every day. I kept on working out every day. I set up a small gym at my home and I was at home. I worked out. And throughout this process, I learned a lot about my body, how my body reacts to every workout, how my body reacts to whatever I eat. So now I'm much more disciplined. I work out almost every day. I am on a diet almost every day. I know what all should be eaten, what all should be avoided. So Minnal Murali actually changed my life. And when I was shooting the first schedule of Minnal Murali, I had only one daughter. And now, by the time the movie releases, my son is 1.5 years old. So I had a long time. So I think I evolved a lot as a better actor and a better human being throughout this. It started in 2018, the discussions. The shooting started in 2019 and now the release is happening by 2021 end. It was a long time for me. I was in the character for a very long time.
Very long time. Right. How lovely. What do you want?
I think perhaps with Mr. and Mrs. Iyer for me, because I didn't really ever want to be an actor. So what happened is because that film was in English and it was seen by many people and I got a national award, it changed the course of my life.
Right.
Where I started getting more offers, I kind of just accepted that we'll do this only and see, let's see how it goes.
If you ask about affecting the personal life, I change a little after every film.
Yeah.
My wardrobe changes. My just general talking style changes a little bit after every film. And I don't try and do it. Like how Coco was saying, she does it before.
Right.
It for me happens after and during. That something changes without trying. My wardrobe especially, which is very crazy thing. After Haseen Dilruba, before Haseen Dilruba, I had only 2-3 saris with me. After Haseen Dilruba, I had a dozen saris. I have now dozen saris in my wardrobe, which I love to wear just casually. I just loved it so much, that whole look. So that's how I get affected. And professionally, I think the film that changed everything for me was Pink. That changed everything. That changed about, okay, I was like, okay, I can do this. I never thought I could do this. So yeah, that changed everything.
Look at me, I have quite a few there. I don't know, I think my first film was a landmark. Then obviously the other commercial successes. Then Andaz Apna Apna Mohra here, there. Then Shool changed it for me. Daman changed it for me. And yeah, that was it. Just Aks changed it for me. There's a lot of different things.
Different
This is a whole separate interview.
We'll all become audience for that and we'll just keep listening.
No, yeah, that's sweet. But yeah, but if I had to change things afterwards, after Aranyak, I'd be slap happy. I'd be just slapping anyone whom I didn't like because I don't know how many people have slapped in Aranyak. So that is something I don't carry back home. My kids will throw me out the next day. Otherwise, yeah, there's been many milestones along the way. So I'm just grateful and thankful. That's it.
To all of you, what is the best thing about being an actor in these streaming times, in this streaming age?
Being an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, if that qualifies for the answer, but the stress of no box office.
Of course.
That is like good, like
That it's
full
no
8
longer-
hours of sleep, no hair fall off out of stress and anxiety. I mean, I enjoyed that time. So yeah, that's nice.
Do you relate to that?
Definitely. It's actually quite relatable. It's much more peaceful
Yeah, it is.
and breezy. The release time. You can actually sit and enjoy the whole release and just like live it and not get too worried about what the numbers are going to come out.
Right.
But for me, I think it's the exposure that I'm getting right now, which we never used to get.
Yeah.
We Keralites watch all language movies.
Correct.
I like Malayalam movies, Tamil movies, Telugu movies, Kannada movies, Hindi movies, Spanish, English, Japanese or French. we have that culture of watching all language movies with subtitles or without subtitles. But the problem is Malayalam movies were watched only by Keralites. So our market was very small. But we had to compete with all these other huge industries.
Correct.
But when these streaming platforms came into existence or came into India, a lot of things changed for Malayalam industry. Most of the greatest movies of Malayalam, I don't think anybody of you has watched it because it was not accessible.
Not available, yeah.
Yeah, it was not accessible. But now I think last year when
Last 2 years,
Kala
actually.
got released, that's when I realized it. But a lot of Malayalam movies got recognized in recent times. I think that's streaming platforms are one of the major reasons for that. We started as a Malayalam movie, Minnal Murali.
Right.
But as we started getting appreciation and all, we started thinking big. And now we had a Bollywood,
Premiere.
we had a premiere here, which is the first time for me. Earlier we used to make films only for Malayali audience. Now we are making movies for pan-Indian audience.
Wonderful. It's true. It really feels like, and I want you all to weigh in. It feels like they've led. I mean, the streamers have led to. Slowly, we're getting to an even playing field. Maybe. I mean, certainly certainly for the fact that now films from regions which didn't get that national kind of pan India release, now we have access to those films. I mean, and really, it's a great example in the case of Minnal Murali because. If this film was restricted only to Kerala, it would be a shame. It's just such wonderful film, and it's so easy, and it's so really accessible that it'll be a shame if it would have been a shame if it wasn't getting this kind of release. But also, I want to say, it feels like you can create, and I'm going to say this, female characters who are messy, who are complex, who are which popular mainstream theatrical films are not allowing you to do. I mean, is that fair?
Absolutely. I think even in terms of like format, just, the fact that you can do mini-series or reality or short films, whatever it is. So you have a lot more, many more options. And also in terms of content, what was absolutely fabulous is that there was no censorship. But now, I mean, of course, that's not the case anymore. But that I think was very freeing. Like I think a character like Bharati Mandal, who's Dalit and queer, I don't know if there would be a space for that kind of a short film at all otherwise.
It's a level playing field actually. You don't have to get stressed about number of screens, number of shows, good shows, bad shows, which area. These are the things always and there is a. Like it or no, when there's a female protagonist film and a male protagonist film releasing on the same date, we're always like at the back burner.
Yeah.
Lesser number of screens, lesser number of shows. Timings of the shows are also not as friendly. We never get the equal level playing field. So now this really puts it at the same level.
Correct.
Because it's available all across at the same time for the same number of people.
Yeah.
So this will be like the true power of the content.
Right.
So which really is refreshing and good and a relief, so to say.
See, also the fear for even the filmmakers, it's been liberating for them in a way that they're not shackled by the constraints and the restraints of, agreed box office, or is it a formula film? Will it work with the audience or not? They're out there, they're experimenting with the storytelling that they want to do. There are so many scripts that they couldn't have probably made as a regular feature film and released it in theaters because it probably would not have gotten accepted. Yeah. But here we know that on this streaming platform that there is a niche audience for everything. So that fear is not there that, oh, no one's going to watch my work. There is a certain audience that earlier on, even our audience was not exposed to the kind of like how, he said that now Malayalam cinema is being watched by so many people. Earlier, we would not get the opportunity to watch these kind of films that came in from Korea or from Tajikistan or from Iran. We'd wait for a film festival to come and then probably catch a film made by a filmmaker that we really wanted to follow. But now it's there at your fingertips. So audience is also now exposed and they're aware of different genres, different cultures, different kind of filmmaking. And so I think it's become an even more accepting audience as well. Hence the freedom to make different kind of cinema and now, kind of dish it out to people where that you have an audience and ye nahi ki अरे अभी ये तो चलेगी नहीं तो item song डालो. We don't have that constraints anymore. So I think it just works. It's a win-win right now at the moment for everyone.
And I think more than stardom, content and quality is what matters in
Exactly.
streaming platforms.
Exactly.
और ऐसा नहीं है word of mouth travel होते होते by the time the word of mouth reaches the film is off.
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
your screens are reducing.
And it's so sad. There's such good films today.
Yeah.
So how do you measure the success of your project when it's on streaming? With the traditional yardsticks gone, box office gone, if it's television, TRP is gone. How do you judge whether what you've made has reached out?
I don't know actually, and that is probably why we are enjoying that relief.
No, actually, when Aranyak has released, and Touchwood, it's been #1 since the day it released. It's been 10 days now on #1 in India, and I think we are #8 in the world in global. So I'm like literally stalking Monica. Like, now what? Now what? Where is it reached now? Okay, what is happening now? Say, give me another day. Give me another day.
So they say, okay, wait till this much of time, then you'll know. Then they'll give you, a certain approximate kind of figures. And, but the fact that it's not out there is the reason.
No, there is a web page.
Now
where
it is.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Netflix top
Recently.
10 or
Now they're
something.
giving you those lists.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That now it was like, for example, when Aranyak
Recently it
released.
is coming.
It's very recent,
Before your
So
series,
it's been
it did
so
come
every
in.
day I'm almost scared. I open up Netflix and I see अभी तक #1 पे है कि नहीं कि slip हो गई. So that is my box office equation right now.
Konkara is very silent. I feel like Konkara is thinking, this is my career. I mean, this is exactly what every film of mine
I don't know how you measure success.
Correct.
Just because it's popular and people are liking it doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
True.
True. That is actually
And
true.
how do you measure success? Sometimes you get to know people, love something. If people love something, you get to know.
Right.
And then that's all. Yeah, and I think then you encounter, like down the line also you encounter people, you know that something has worked or it has touched people. I think that is a great measure of success. Like if it has touched people and people's lives, then that is so rewarding also. I never get into the box office because I have not done those kind of films by and large, So for me, it doesn't make sense.
So let me ask the flip to this. I mean, while we're talking about just the incredible opportunities and the fact that you don't have to worry about box office and all of those things, is there also a little part of you that's sort of sad that if your film does not have this inbuilt family audience, if it's not firing on all cylinders, if it doesn't have a big male star, you're probably not going to go to the cinemas. So have the cinemas become almost the exclusive domain of a certain kind of film?
No, I believe the future is the coexistence of both theatrical releases and
I second that.
streaming platform releases. Maybe I wanted Minal Murli to release in big screen.
Right. Of course, it's built
Yeah.
for that. I mean, that experience with all of the effects.
I have this little disappointment that it's not going to come on
Yeah.
big screen. But I'm trying to see the positive side. Where earlier it was very hard for us to make our movie reach across the globe. Now it has become easier. Our maximum number of countries we could release a movie with our distribution system was 42. That was a maximum. Minal Murli is releasing in more than 190 countries.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want people to watch Minal Murli on a big screen. So, like how it happened for Red Notice
Yes.
in Netflix,
Yes.
it was a simultaneous release in selected screens and Netflix.
Right.
So I think that's the future.
A hybrid
People who
sort of
want to
release.
watch it from the theater can watch it from the theater. And people who are not able to watch it from the theater can watch it from streaming platforms.
Right. But Adarsh, Sanya, I mean, do you all have an opinion on this? I mean, are you concerned that as a trade speak, am I going to be an OTT star?
Sir, honestly, I don't even think about these things.
How wonderful, actually, yeah.
I'm very selfish like that as an actor. I'm just concerned with the story and with the director and my character. I feel everything else, I don't have control over those things.
So,
Yeah.
So sure, it'll be great if it happens. If it doesn't also, I'm happy with the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I get to play interesting characters, that's all I mean, it might sound very...
no, that's wonderful to focus on what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sanya, you have a different view?
I agree with Adarsh, and also I think for me I've seen a shift in my career Because last year, Ludo released on OTT, on Netflix, and then Paglet, and then Meenakshi Sundareshwar. So I've seen that shift happen and how people in my career, a good shift, and which is very gratifying. And I think, as Adarsh said, that I am always focused on कि character क्या है, काम मिलता रहे. I'm very happy, कहीं पे भी आए.
Fair enough. Lovely choices. Thank you for these wonderful performances. And I want to say, you've brought through these incredible performances, these shows, these films, you've really brought joy into our lives in what has been a hard year. So thank you, really. Thank you for brightening up our year, which has been a tough year, and cannot wait to see what all of you do next. But thank you for entertaining us like you have.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, Netflix, for making this happen. Yeah, this is
good
so
evening,
cool.
yeah.
I want to have the picture of this round table. It's quite a
And so like diverse also, no? All of us.